Hello, my name is Katrina Germein. I'm a children's picture book author, and I've received a request to talk about this book, Bev and Kev, which is illustrated by Mandy Foot. And the staff and children from the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital School contacted me and said, please, Katrina, can you make a video about your inspiration behind the story? So hello everyone at the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital School, and thank you for reaching out. I'm so glad to hear that you're enjoying learning about this book in your school. And Bev and Kev did go on a long journey before it became a book. And originally I wrote the story about a very tall character like Bev, but at first the tall character was not a giraffe. The tall character was a person, a bit like a giant person like you might find in Jack and the Beanstalk or other fairy tales. And I imagined that this very tall person was walking around and they couldn't really fit in because they were so much larger than all the ordinary people or the human people on the ground that it was very hard for them to make friends. And in fact, I called the story Head in the Clouds. And the first publisher that had a look at the story said, I'm wondering if this story might work more with animals. And of course, the obvious tall animal is a giraffe. And so once I changed Bev from a very tall person or a giant into a giraffe, I needed to rethink the whole story. I needed to think about a new setting. So the story became set in Africa, and it does move all over the continent of Africa. So I looked at animals that are in all different African countries. So we have penguins that are on the coast, as well as meerkats or monkeys that might not all actually live together. And I thought, well, in my story, this very tall character is searching for a friend, searching for belonging, searching for a place where they don't feel different. And I thought, well, who might be friends with a giraffe? So I did some research to find out which animals might actually hang with a giraffe in real life. They're probably not really friends, but they do live together. And so I found out about the oxpecker birds, who do in fact live with giraffes, because giraffes have little bugs, little ticks that might live in their mane or on their head, and they live in their fur, and they suck onto the giraffes and they feed on blood, a little bit like a mosquito might feed on our blood. And so these ticks, these little bugs that live on the giraffe, are very good food for oxpecker birds. So in my story, Kev is the oxpecker bird, and he doesn't eat any insects. He doesn't eat any ticks. There's no bug eating in Bev and Kev. But in real life, oxpecker birds are often found on giraffes because they sit on the giraffes and then they can eat the little ticks, which is really good food for them. And it's great for the giraffes as well because then they don't have so many insects living on them. So once Bev had become a giraffe and Bev needed a friend, I thought, well, an oxpecker bird would be the perfect friend. And also because giraffes are very tall and oxpecker birds are very little. And I thought, isn't it lovely that the characters can be friends regardless of their size? Because if you'd read the story, you'd know that Bev feels left out, not so much just because she's tall, but because people are always telling her how big she is, and they're always talking about how different she looks. They're always focusing on what makes her different and not really understanding all the other wonderful values that she has. Because, of course, being tall is not a bad thing. I'm quite tall. My whole family is tall. Just like being short or being small is not a bad thing. But when people always talk about how you look different, and they're always telling you, oh my goodness, you're so big or you're so tiny, it makes you feel like you don't really belong. So I wanted two characters who belong together because they feel the same way and they like the same things. So they belong together regardless of whether they're big or small. So I hope that that has answered some of your questions and that you continue to enjoy reading Bev and Kev. Bye for now.